Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to Might and Magic VII for our first bonus video. In these bonus videos we're going to be looking at some of the things that we did not get a chance to do in the main campaign, starting with Temple in a Bottle. Now the reason we didn't do this during the main campaign is because you find this item in a place called the Shoals, which is one of the very last zones in the game. And by the time you're in the Shoals, you can only get there after you've put on these wetsuits. It's such a pain to put them on, and then after that, the next destination is the Lincoln to actually win the game. And it would have been a bit awkward to interrupt, the final quest of the game, the climactic, thing that you've got to do right at the end, and just go on a complete tangent and go to an Easter egg dungeon. So that's why I saved it, and because, the quest we were on was the last quest in the game, the only other place we could do this Temple in a Bottle would be in a kind of post-game bonus video. But yes, that's why we haven't done it yet, and that's why we're doing it now. And without further ado, let's, well, first, before we use it, let's take a look at it. I think it's a very cool, very cute-looking item. Let's read the description. A strangely shaped small building, crafted inside a glass bottle. Something about the bottle beckons you inside. Kind of ominous description, but yes, it looks pretty cool. In fact, I wouldn't mind having something like this in my own house. It would look pretty cool, just sitting there on a shelf. But yes, this is not merely a decoration, but you can also do stuff with it. In fact, the game tells you that you can use it, and it prompts you, or it tells you that you can use it for any item that you can interact with. So it'll give you the same notice for scrolls, which you can use on your characters, or these genie lamps, which we're gonna look at in the next bonus video, potions, and so on. So this is another one of those items that you can interact with, and let's see what happens if we do use it. The two ways of using it, of course, are you can pick it up and then left-click on your character paper doll, or right-click on the character portraits. Let's try right-clicking. What that has done is...
Ew. What's that smell?
It has taken us to this place, which is called the Strange Temple. Now, technically, you could consider this to be one of the dungeons in the game, although when it comes to Easter egg dungeons, of course, there's always a gray area about whether to consider them part of the game, like part of the proper game itself. But, whether or not you consider it to be, like part of the game world, or if that's too immersion breaking, it's still part of the game. Like, somebody coded this, so it's worth checking out, and it's always fun to me
Let's leave it behind.
to see these little Easter eggs that developers put in. Like, you don't necessarily have to take them that seriously if it kills your immersion in the game, but after you've beaten the game, I think is the best time to look at these things. And so these doors were closed until we hit that switch.
That's it?
And upon hitting that switch, those doors opened, and we were able to see, what items were on the ground in those rooms. However, it doesn't seem like it opened the rest of these doors. And I think what might be going on is, I was gonna say maybe there's another switch. Looking at stuff on the map, that looks like it might be hiding a switch. And these fountains, they looked promising for a while, but then it doesn't look like they help you in any way. So, if I can't figure out a way to open these doors, there must be some switch that I've missed. Because this switch opened those doors. Let's take one last look around, and if we can't find anything, we'll give up on this part of the map, because this is not the interesting part of the map. Like, the actual interesting stuff, and the reason why it's an Easter egg dungeon, that stuff will come later, and it'll be in a... Oh, here we go. Here's all the switches. Well, I'm glad we were able to find them. They're glowing red because of our perception skill. It's high enough that it'll point out things on the map that you can interact with. Although in this case, even if it wasn't glowing red, I think it would be pretty obvious that those were the levers we were looking for. And now, surely all of these doors are open. Yes. I don't know if we're gonna go into every single one of them, because we don't really need gold. We've beaten the game, and besides, we've got more gold than we could ever spend. Like, there literally isn't even a way for us to get rid of this gold, other than deliberately dying and then not putting our gold in the bank so that we lose all of it. But yes, that's enough about that area. Now we went through that little part, which teleported us to another zone in this map. I already had a previous save that I made. This was just me testing out to make sure I knew how to navigate this place. I guess I wasn't able to figure out the levers in my previous save, but we figured it out now, and I think it's always nicer when you're watching someone play a game and they figure something out on screen itself. Now these doors, I think they don't have anything in them, and if you go inside, I believe it'll teleport us back. Yes. So to get back, you just walk through again and it'll teleport. So that's how you can move back and forth. And one thing you'll have noticed, which I haven't drawn attention to yet, is that when we were in this part of the map, it was giving us a green indicator, but now in this part of the map, it's a yellow indicator, meaning there is somebody in here who is hostile. And one thing I did try to test when I was okay, so our hostile person seems... Let's find the source of the yellow indicator first. You can see the map is slowly getting populated with green dots. We'll see what's going on with them later. First of all, I do want to find and deal with the one hostile creature there is. I say creature, that might not be the best term, but we'll soon see. I'm being cryptic. It's probably not warranted, but we'll soon see. Alright, now I think we're going towards where the enemy is. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, I got turned around. There's a good reason that I didn't want to open that door. So I want to... Oh, I don't want to load my game, I want to save my game. I want to find specifically where the hostile person is. He's very close by. This might be him. Here we go. Here's the one enemy in this dungeon, Lord Roberts. And if you mouse over him, it says Blaster Guy C. I think that's just the name of the model. We can also look at his statistics. He casts Hour of Power. He's immune to light and dark. We can shoot him dead with our blasters. He'll go down pretty quickly. And I was debating whether or not to leave him alive. The only way to leave him alive would be if we didn't open this door. Because... Oh, I guess... Hang on. we'll leave his corpse, because looting him doesn't give you anything. And even though I didn't want to kill him, the reason I am killing him is because if you leave him alive, he will start going around and shooting the other people in this area. Let's look at some of these names. We've got some of these people, and if you right click on them, you'll start seeing their names. And once you read some of the names, you'll understand why this is an Easter egg dungeon. Looks like we've got Andrew YC. There's 2 instances of somebody called Wacko the Ninja, Mephisto Ancient Sorcerer, Just_A_Brain, King Louis, Rydrick. So this room has people with weird names. I think it might be a combination of real people plus like usernames maybe, or code names, or aliases. But if we go into these rooms, you'll start finding people with normal names. Like we have Jeff Blackner here, and John Bolton there. We've got nobody in this room, but in this room we've got Keith Talanay. Basically what's going on is that these people are the people who worked on this game. And what is essentially happening... We've got John Krause there. What's essentially happening is this is the game's way... or this is the game's substitute for having a credits screen. Because we didn't really have a credits screen the way most games do it. Like when you beat them, a thing starts scrolling by with the names of everyone who worked on this game. No, in this case, they are all in the Easter egg dungeon. And I'm gonna not read every single one of their names because I do have to talk about it as well. But I will try and hover over all of them, and I might miss some of them. Like I might not right click on all of them, and if I do, apologies to the people who worked on this game who I may be inadvertently skipping, but I'll try to get as many of them as I can. Basically, if I open a door... Ooh, Chris Rock. That's surely not the Chris Rock that you and I are probably thinking of, but that's kind of cool. But yes, what I was going to say was my strategy is going to be, the moment I open a door, I'm going to look inside and I'm going to see if there's anybody in the room. And I think the main way that I'll miss someone is if I simply forget to open a door. Now I think we've seen that entire wing. It looks like there's going to be more doors on this side. Let's move the map a little bit, and I think there are doors here as well. So everywhere where you're seeing like a gap in the walls, like this, or like this, I think is where you're gonna find some doors. So let's just make sure everything is open on this side before we move on to the other side. Is there anybody in here? No, it just looks like it's a connecting passageway. There's Lord Roberts again. Now let's keep on going. We've got Derek Chester there, and some of his colleagues as well. Anybody in here? Yes, there is. What was that? Carl Drown. That's an interesting surname. It might not be pronounced that way, but still, I think it's a kind of a cool name. Anybody in here? This tiny room? No. And ooh, looks like we've got a Guthwolf, Infernon. Might be a couple more, like, not real names, but like their avatars, their aliases, their usernames, whatever you want to call them. I suspect anyway. We can save again before we interact with these things. But similar to Might and Magic VI, like these cabinets are giving you free potion bottles, I think. It's simulating maybe like a vending machine, like an office vending machine where you can get refreshments, probably. And here we have John, the head of, I believe, New World Computing. Now in Might and Magic VI and in the Easter egg dungeon for that game, I believe he was also there, but he was a goblin and he was hostile. In this case, it looks like you don't have to kill him, which is cool. The only enemy here was Lord Roberts, who again, I'm not sure if is a real person or if that's just like an in-joke. Got Your Conscience. Surely not a real name, but you never know. You never know. I think we're almost done. Actually, no, we're not. Scratch that, because there's a whole other corridor here that we haven't been to. And it too has people in it. Phelan Sykes, Phelan, Alex Sherman, Chris Bates. Oh, and I think we've just got a few doors left, at least in this section. So let's go right ahead and meet these people. And apparently there's a secret door blocking off that corridor. Not sure why that's there, but we got through it, and just a few doors left. Oh, yeah, felt like I kind of glitched through that wall, but you know what? It's okay. Bonnie Long Hemseth. And let's take a look at our map. Now it looks like we might be in our final stretch. We've got a few more offices to peek into, a few more people to greet, and we will be done. Rebecca, anybody else? Nope. Alright, alright. I wonder if, like, this is accurate in the sense that I wonder if people are placed in the actual offices they were. So this, I'm pretty sure, is meant to be a representation of their actual office building. And I wonder if the rooms are their actual rooms. Because if that's the case, that would be really, really, really cool. Alright. Coming towards the end. Just a few more rooms to go. Okay. Okay. Almost done. And lastly, perhaps, Paul Ratner there. I think we... Well, no, there's this door. With the nobody in it. Okay. I think we're done. Before we call it good, let's just take one look at the map and try and see if there are any places where it looks like there should be a... Oh, okay, there's this place here, which we obviously haven't been to. A little bit out far away, but I think we can get there pretty easily if we go like this. And then take a left here. Yeah, we didn't go inside this room. The reason I knew we didn't is because like it had no... Like the back side of it wasn't explored. So I knew that we hadn't been in there. And Ian Bullard, again, I'm not really sure about the pronunciation, but Ian is the last person that we're gonna meet. And we're done, I think, exploring. We've quote-unquote cleared this dungeon by killing Lord Roberts. John, the head of the company. It was not hostile in this case. It was Lord Roberts, who was the sole enemy in this dungeon. We killed him. Technically it's clear, but that wasn't the point. The point was to go around and meet all the people. And now let's say a few words before we wrap this video up, because we are done. Let's say a few words. And I just want to say, I think it's really cool that the game did this. because as I mentioned, they don't really have a proper credits sequence the way most games do. So this is a nice way to acknowledge all the people who worked on this game. The other thing that I will say is that it almost feels like a precursor to what video game companies are doing nowadays, especially video games that got funding on Kickstarter, where what they'll do is they will put the names of their backers as actual in-game names. So, and maybe they'll have them in the credits as well, but this thing about using the names of people who've actually contributed to your game as part of the game itself, it's we can see that there's a long tradition of gaming companies doing it, although nobody has done it the way these games have done it. And, like, I've still yet to see another game which had an Easter egg dungeon that was a replica of the offices that the people worked in, and the people appeared as actual NPCs inside the office rooms. That, I think, is one... I was gonna say one of the coolest things about the series. Maybe not. Like, maybe you think other things are cooler, like the gameplay, the enemies, the skills, but I think this is one really cool thing that the series does, which, again, I haven't seen this type of representation of your, game's contributors. I've never seen any game do it quite like this, so yes. It's always fun for me to take a walk through these Easter egg dungeons, and yes, you can argue it's immersion breaking, but if that's the case, then, saving it until after you've beaten the game, I think is probably the best way to do it. But I still think it's cool. It's cool to look around at these little extra things that game developers will sometimes hide in their game. One other cool thing, our haste ran out, everyone's weak. I don't really care about that. But one other cool thing is that using the Temple in a Bottle won't cause the item to disappear. You can use it, and you can use it to get back to the Easter egg dungeon if you want, but mainly the reason I like that it doesn't disappear is because it's just a cool looking item that I would love to keep in my inventory as almost like a trophy for having beaten the game. But yes, I think that's gonna be all for this video. I mentioned, it was gonna be a short one, and not too short, I don't think. I think it took us a bit of time meeting everyone and figuring out, how to open the doors in the other section of the game. But now it is time to say goodbye to all our new friends, and it's time to leave. We could leave by casting Town Portal, but just as an excuse to look around one last time, let's actually walk back to the teleporters. Aha! Oh, you see, there's a door I hadn't opened. I mean, couple doors. Okay, I think these are possibly alternate doors to rooms that we'd already been in. But there were no new people there, so there wasn't anyone I missed, which is the important thing. So now we walk back. Let's take maybe a quick peek left and right. It doesn't look like we missed anything there, and there's nothing there. Okay, now let's walk outside. And the other reason that I want to walk out rather than just teleporting out is because I want to know where it puts you. So we interacted with this object in order to travel here. What happens if you go out through the exit? Like, where in the game world does it put you? That's something I'm curious to know. My guess would be it would put you in Harmondale, because it's like the hub opening zone of the game. Am I correct? I am correct. It does put you at Harmondale at this point, overlooking the castle. That's actually a pretty nice... pretty nice little view to end the video on. Let's try and get a slightly better angle. I think that's good. We got some of the town buildings as well. You can see that fireball trap and that weird this little thing is shooting off in the distance. I think it's just constantly firing, but yes. That is where we are going to leave things off. Hope you guys enjoyed this bonus video, and I think there's only one other bonus video that I have planned, which is going to be explaining how these genie lamps worked, which I just never got around to looking at during the main game itself. I'll be honest, at a certain point I just forgot about them, but we are going to look at these in the next bonus video, and it's pretty complicated, so that one might take long, but we'll have to see about how we're going to do this. But yes, that is going to be all for this video. Hope you had a good time. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll join me for the next bonus video, and hope you'll stick around for some of the other adventures we're going to go on in this channel. But yes, until the next time, take care.